Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are wading into waters that, I'll be honest, I usually try to avoid.
Oh, which waters would those be?
The beauty hack waters, you know the type. I saw the title of our source material today, 30 tips to look good without makeup, and my brain it immediately went to shopping list.
Right.
I was mentally preparing for like 30 different serums I can't pronounce, or maybe some laser treatment that costs as much as a used car.
You are prepping the credit card for some serious damage control.
Exactly. I was ready to be sold something, but then I actually opened the documents and I realized I was completely wrong. This isn't a shopping list. In fact, if you stripped away the title, you might not even realize this is a beauty guide at all.
Now, it reads much more like a manual for biological efficiency.
That is a much less sexy title, but yeah, very accurate.
It is. I mean, when you look at the 4 pillars these sources lay out,
Yeah.
basic care, skincare essentials, diet, and then this really fascinating section on elegance and aura. The theme isn't buy this.
It's optimize this system. It's all about bridging that gap between your internal physiology, your metabolism, your circulation, and your external discipline.
It's basically life cycle management for the human body, just with looking hot as the key performance indicator.
Essentially, the premise here is that what we call looking good, or, radiance, is just the side effect. It's the visual evidence that a body and mind are functioning at peak performance.
Which is a compelling promise.
Yeah.
So let's test it. We're going to walk through these pillars, starting with what the source calls basic care. And right away, tip number 1 is something that costs $0 but requires, well, zero procrastination.
The warm water rule.
Wash your face first and drink warm water after waking up. Now, I'm a coffee person. I stumbled to the machine. Why is the source so specific about warm water right away?
Well, this is all about the engine startup sequence.
Okay.
When you sleep, your metabolic rate drops, pretty significantly. Your body cools down.
And the source explains that warm water acts as a gentle wake-up call to your digestive system, your lymphatic system. It raises the core temperature just a little bit, which flips the switch on your metabolism.
So it's not just hydration.
Right.
It's thermal regulation.
Exactly. And there's an aesthetic bonus the source highlights: facial puffiness. That puffiness in the morning is usually just fluid retention or a sluggish lymphatic system. The warm water hydrates and dilates the blood vessels to help flush all that stagnant fluid out.
And the instruction to wash your face first before you drink, what's that about?
That's likely psychological.
Yeah.
And hygienic. It's like clearing the canvas before you start the internal engine. It just sets a tone of discipline the second your feet hit the floor.
Okay, so we're up. We flush the system. Tip number 2 says, get 10 minutes of sunlight every morning. This feels like advice for a houseplant, not a person.
We aren't that different from houseplants in this regard. This is pure chronobiology. The source is tapping into the science of circadian rhythms.
Right.
Morning sunlight hitting your retina sends a signal to your brain to stop producing melatonin, that's the sleep hormone, and start producing cortisol and serotonin.
So it sets the clock for the day.
Well, yes, but it really sets the clock for the night. That's the key.
Yeah.
By anchoring your wake-up time with light, you're chemically programming your body to get sleepy 16 hours later. And as we know, beauty sleep isn't a myth. It's when cellular repair happens.
Speaking of sleep, this next part felt, I don't know, like a personal attack. I'm a chronic side sleeper. I curl up. And tip number 3 is just looking at me with deep disappointment.
Don't sleep on your side or face down.
It says this causes habit wrinkles and eye bags. Is that mechanical stress really that big of a deal?
Unfortunately, yes. I mean, think about the physics of it. A
Yeah.
human head weighs, what, roughly 10 to 11 pounds?
Right.
If you were smashing that weight into a pillow for 8 hours a night, every single night, for 20 years, that is a massive amount of sheer force on your skin.
You're literally ironing wrinkles into your face.
You are. The source warns that long-term side sleeping creates a structural asymmetry, and these deep creases, specifically the smile lines, that just don't bounce back once you start to lose collagen.
So I have to learn to sleep on my back like a vampire in a coffin.
Ideally, yes. It prevents fluid from pooling in the face, which solves the eye bag issue, and it keeps the skin from folding under pressure.
Okay. Moving on to the workday. Tip number 4 is for all the office workers out there. Take a break every hour at work to stand and move for 3 minutes.
This is what I'd call the oxygen rule. We
Yeah.
sit, we hunch, we shallow breathe, our circulation slows to a crawl, and the source explicitly connects this to skin tone. It says moving increases oxygen levels and gives your skin a healthy glow.
We tend to think of glow as something you get from, like, a highlighter stick.
Right, but biological glow is literally just oxygenated blood near the surface of the skin.
Oh.
If you're sedentary for 4 hours, you look kind of gray and tired because your blood isn't delivering nutrients efficiently to the periphery. You can't fake real circulation with makeup.
So if you look dead at 3 p.m., don't buy more blush, just stand up.
Precisely. And while we're talking about circulation, let's jump to the end of the day. The source suggests a foot soak.
This one felt very luxurious to me. Soak your feet in warm water for 15 minutes?
It is luxurious, but in the context of this source, it's all functional. It's based on the principle of drawing heat downwards. By warming the feet, you dilate the blood vessels in the lower body, which draws blood away from your head and your core.
Ah.
It signals to the parasympathetic nervous system that it's time to wind down.
It's a physiological off switch.
And that off switch is crucial because of the specific time window mentioned in tip number 7. This is like non-negotiable in the text. 10:000 p.m. to 2:00 a.m.
The golden time. Yeah, the source is really adamant about being asleep during this block.
Because that is when the hormonal shift happens. This is when your pituitary gland releases growth hormone, which is essentially your body's repair crew. It fixes micro tears, it builds collagen, it regenerates tissue.
So if I go to bed at 1 a.m., I haven't just lost a few hours of sleep, I've missed the entire repair window.
You've missed the appointment. If you're awake scrolling Instagram at midnight, your cortisol is probably elevated, which suppresses that growth hormone. You are literally blocking your own anti-aging process.
Boasting your own collagen. That is a terrifying thought.
It should be. You can apply a $300 night cream, but if the factory inside isn't running, the cream is just sitting there on top.
Let's move to the second pillar. The sources call this basic skincare essentials, but again, it's not really about products, it's about hygiene. I'm calling this section the clean canvas.
That's a good way to frame it. Before you add anything to your face, you have to stop actively sabotaging it.
And the biggest saboteur is something we're all addicted to. Tip number 6, clean your phone screen regularly.
The modern bacterial petri dish.
Totally. The source says phone screens hold all this bacteria, and touching them to your face causes acne. It's so obvious, but I think we all forget just how dirty our phones are.
Oh, for sure. We take them into public bathrooms, put them on gym benches, handle them after touching subway poles, and then we press them directly against our cheek. You're basically inoculating your pores with staph bacteria.
Gross. But very effective imagery. There's another hidden saboteur in this section that I think people miss. The towel.
Ah, yes. Tip number 5. Don't use the same towel to dry your hair and your face.
Why is the hair towel such a villain here?
2 reasons. First is residue. Your hair products, conditioners, styling creams, oils, they're designed to coat hair strands. They're often comedogenic, meaning they clog pores.
Right.
So if you wipe your damp hair and then use that same towel on your face, you're just transferring those pore-clogging ingredients right onto your clean skin.
And the second reason?
Bacteria and dampness. Bath towels often stay damp. They grow things. The source advises a separate, soft, absorbent towel exclusively for your face that gets washed all the time. It minimizes physical abrasion and bacterial transfer.
It feels so high maintenance, but when you explain the cross-contamination, it makes total sense.
It's not high maintenance. It's just risk management.
Yep.
It's the same thing with tip number 6 about jewelry. Disinfect earrings and necklaces regularly,
I confess I never do this. I just put them on.
and that can cause microinflammation. The source notes that these small hygiene details are what make or break refinement. If your earlobes are irritated or you have little breakouts on your neck from a dirty chain, it detracts from that clean look.
Now, let's talk about the face itself. The source makes a really bold claim about eyebrows. It says, well-groomed eyebrows are the foundation of a bare face.
Foundation is the key word there. When you aren't wearing makeup, you don't have eyeliner or contour to define your facial geometry. Your brows have to do all that heavy lifting of providing structure.
But it warns against overdrawn brows.
Right. The Instagram brow, that blocky, painted on, it looks really jarring on a bare face. The source suggests a natural shape. Why? Because messy or drooping brows make the face look tired and dragged down.
Okay.
A clean, natural arch just opens up the whole eye area. It's a structural lift without surgery.
And speaking of structure, let's talk hair. The tip isn't about some fancy blowout. It's just keep your scalp fresh and non-greasy.
This goes right back to the clean aesthetic. The source is blunt. Greasy hair instantly makes a person look tired and unkempt.
It suggests a neat low ponytail or bun to make your facial features appear clearer.
Yeah, it's about removing visual noise. Think about it. If you have no makeup on and your hair is messy or oily around your face, it casts shadows. It looks chaotic. A neat bun pulls everything back. It exposes your neck, your jawline. It creates a look that the text calls clean and airy.
Clean and airy. I like that. It's the same logic for hands too, right? Neatly trimmed nails, clean edges.
Exactly. It's the polished impression. All these little tips, the separate towel, the clean phone, the neat brows, the trimmed nails, they all add up to send a signal. And the signal is, I am disciplined. I take care of myself.
Which brings us perfectly to the third pillar, diet and internal balance. This is where the source really hammers home that beauty from within idea, and there is a clear, undisputed villain in this story.
Refined sugar.
Tip number 5 in the diet section. Reduced refined sugar. We all know it can cause weight gain, but the source lists some terrifying side effects for skin specifically.
It says sugar yellows the skin.
Which, that sounds like something a Victorian grandmother would say to scare you away from candy. Is that a real thing?
It is very real. The biological process is called glycation. When you have excess sugar in your bloodstream, it bonds to proteins. And the proteins it absolutely loves to bond to are collagen and elastin, stuff that keeps your skin bouncy and tight.
And what happens when sugar bonds to them?
It forms what are called AG's advanced glycation end products. You can think of it like toast browning. The sugar makes the collagen stiff, brittle, and yes, discolored. It loses its snap. That yellowing is literally the degradation of your skin's support structure.
So that donut is literally attacking my face's structural integrity.
Sadly, yes. But the good news is the source gives us a counter strategy. It tells us to eat 1 to 2 types of natural, colorful foods every day.
Tomatoes, carrots, red dates, pumpkin, blueberries, it calls them natural beauty filters.
Because they are packed with phytonutrients and antioxidants. So if sugar's the villain causing oxidative stress and breaking things down, these colorful foods are like the repair crew. They scavenge the free radicals that age us.
I noticed the source mentions red dates and warming foods. This feels like it's drawing on some traditional wellness wisdom, maybe even traditional Chinese medicine concepts.
It definitely feels that way. You can see it in the advice on grains, too. It suggests rotating grains like red rice, oats, and quinoa. But look at the specific warning about oats.
Oats can feel warming, so sensitive individuals should avoid oat-based foods during menstruation. That is such a specific, nuanced detail.
It shows that this list isn't just about counting calories. It's looking at food energetics. It implies that beauty comes from really listening to how your body reacts to specific ingredients at specific times in your cycle.
It also has a specific recipe for gut health. Pair yogurt with nuts.
Probiotics plus healthy fats. The source calls this the golden combination. So many skin issues, acne, dullness, they start in the gut. If you fix the digestion, you often fix the face.
And of course, we can't talk about diet without hydration. But the source is really strict about how we drink water.
Sip, don't chug.
Right. It calls for at least 1,500 milliliters a day, but says sipping small amounts frequently is more effective.
Think of a dry sponge. If you dump a bucket of water on it, most of it just runs off. If you drip water onto it slowly, it absorbs. It's the same with our bodies. If you chug a huge bottle of water, your kidneys just flush most of it out. Sipping maintains a constant level of cellular hydration.
And the source says lack of water makes fine lines more visible.
It's the grape versus raisin analogy. Hydrated cells are plump. Dehydrated cells shrivel. Proactive hydration prevents the lines from even forming in the first place.
Okay, we've covered the biology, the hygiene, and the fuel. Now we get to my favorite section, because it's the most surprising. The fourth pillar, elegance and aura.
This is where we leave the purely physical realm and enter into psychology. And frankly, this might be the most powerful part of the entire document.
The very first tip here is bold. Posture is more important than appearance.
That is a massive statement.
It is. But is it true? Can posture really outweigh a pretty face?
Absolutely. Think about what posture signals biologically. You can have perfect skin and symmetrical features, but if you are slumped over, shoulders rolled forward, head down, what are you projecting?
Submission. Low energy.
Exactly. Insecurity. Defeat. The source says, keep your back straight and shoulders naturally relaxed. It claims your overall aura immediately feels different.
It talks about inner energy.
When you take up space vertically, when you expose your chest and neck, you signal confidence. You signal that you are not afraid, and that confidence reads to other humans as attractiveness. It's an evolutionary shortcut.
It also changes how you move through the world. Tip number 2, Walk steadily, don't rush, and don't shuffle.
The passerby feel.
Yes, it says rushing makes you look like a passerby, but walking steadily shifts you to a woman with rhythm and presence.
Think about high-status individuals, leaders,
Mhm.
queens, Do they rush? Because they control their time. Rushing implies you're reacting to external pressure. Walking steadily implies you are in control of your environment, and that control reads as elegance.
And then there's the smile. But not just any smile. The source tells us to smile gently without showing teeth.
The Mona Lisa approach.
Why no teeth? Is happiness unrefined or something?
No, but a big, toothy grin is high intensity. It's very eager. The source is aiming for refinement. A closed-mouth smile where the corners of the mouth just rise naturally. It softens the facial muscles. It prevents those crinkles around the eyes.
It says it implies a secret contentment.
That's the key. It's welcoming, but it's contained. It suggests you are happy because of your internal state, not because you're desperately trying to please the person you're looking at.
I love that distinction, and that pairs perfectly with the advice on vocal control. Speak a little slower and more softly.
This is another status signal. Speaking fast or loud usually signals tension. It signals, I have to get this out before someone interrupts me.
So slowing down is a power move.
It is. It said, I have time and I'm worth listening to. The source notes that relaxing your body helps this. If you're tense, your voice gets high and tight. If you relax your shoulders, going back to posture, your voice drops and becomes warmer.
It calms the whole room down.
It does. And a calm person is perceived as a beautiful person. Anxiety is, well, it's rarely attractive.
Let's touch on the styling tips quickly. We're not wearing makeup in this scenario, but we are wearing clothes. The source says, clothing fit matters more than brand.
A generic t-shirt that fits your shoulders perfectly is always going to look better than a designer shirt that's too tight or bagging at the waist. Neatness equals presence.
And finally, the invisible accessory, scent.
Use fragrance to enhance your aura. A light scent adds an invisible layer of elegance. It makes you memorable. Even if someone can't quite place why you seem so put together, a subtle scent ties the whole package. The posture, the clean hair, the calm voice, it ties it all together.
So looking back at all 30 of these tips, none of this is actually hard. It's not rocket science.
No, it's not hard, but it is demanding.
How so?
Because it requires consistency. Drinking warm water once won't fix your metabolism. Sleeping by 11 p.m. one night won't erase your eye bags. Standing up straight for 5 minutes doesn't change your aura.
It's about the compound interest of habits.
Exactly. The source material is proving that natural radiance isn't an accident. It's the result of removing friction. You remove the sugar, you remove the bacteria from your phone, you remove the tension from your shoulders.
That's a great way to put it. We spend so much time trying to add things to our faces. Concealer, blush, contour. But this approach is about subtraction. Subtracting the bad habits so the good stuff, the natural health, can actually show through.
Right. It turns your daily routine into a ritual of self-respect. And honestly, that is the most attractive quality a person can have.
So here's the thought I want to leave you with today. We've talked about biology, hygiene, diet. But let's go back to that idea of aura.
The psychology of presence. Exactly. Imagine you wake up tomorrow. You don't put on a stitch of makeup. You don't hide your dark circles. But you walk 10% slower. You speak 10% softer. You hold your back straight, and you offer that gentle, closed-mouth smile.
The question is, would people perceive you as more beautiful than if you had just slumped over and applied some concealer?
The sources suggest the answer is yes. And I think that's a deep dive worth taking. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Stay radiant.